Heathrow Airport. They're the humans. But what about the other type of passenger? Those we don't often think about. Heathrow handles the largest livestock traffic of any airport in the world. Not only the vast number that come to stay in Britain, it's also a junction, shipping animals between continents on opposite sides of the world. Animal air traffic is a very big business, particularly if there's an elephant involved. The best way to ship young Jumbo is to give him a nice comfortable crate with a slot for an inquiring trunk. His ticket from Central Africa costs twice as much as a man's, but he gets free food and his own attendant on the journey. The animals are usually collected as soon as they arrive, but sometimes they have to wait, possibly for an outgoing flight. In that case, the airline knows what to do. It sends them over to the RSPCA Animal Hospital on the edge of the airport. This was opened in 1952 to look after the ever-increasing animal passenger traffic. Nearly 1 million living creatures go through it every year, most of them stopping only a few hours. Animals of every conceivable shape and size, fearless, ferocious little minks from Finland. Frogs, imported for medical research. And sometimes a tapir. This is a pretty rare, valuable fellow, a quiet, docile vegetarian. He's flown in from South America, and is in transit to Johannesburg to go to a private collector. Neville Whitaker, manager of the airport's animal hostel, gives him a special feed all to himself. 60 pounds worth of fruit a week is eaten by the monkeys alone. The society doesn't charge the airlines for looking after the animals, but it does charge for their food, and a monkey meal costs 9p a head. The grain bill for birds is more than £40 a month. The correct diet for the hundreds of different animals is one of the first things the 12 girl attendants have to learn. One famous monkey really got attached to the airport. Bimbo was at large there for months, until finally caught and sent to the hostel on her way to a zoo. Well over 500,000 birds go through the hostel every year. Some arrivals are so rare that they have to be checked by the books. They come from all over the world. The small ones are flown in boxes which keep them secure. Every box is separately examined on arrival to make sure that there are no injured birds. Considering the size of the trade, very few are hurt in transit. The tropical fish have a heated room to themselves. Young golden carp arrive from Japan. After a long flight, the containers they travel in are opened and the oxygen level is restored to the water. They're going on to Paris, where they'll be sold in the pet market. Now it's time for a sea lion to move on. This one has flown from California, has bolted 15 pounds of fish in a meal at the animal hostel, or should it be hotel, and is now going off to a dealer in Birmingham. And that's how it goes, all day and all night, 7 days a week. The animals are flown in, left for a few hours in the care of the society, and are then picked up by the airlines for the next stage of their flight if they're moving on, just like human passengers. But these creatures usually only get one airline ticket in a lifetime. The animal aristocrats of the international airways are the racehorses, many of which fly to their meetings as casually as a business executive flies to a conference. The heaviest traffic is between Dublin and England, especially before the big races. In Tom Draper's stables near Dublin, the great Arkle, grounded by a serious injury, makes a point of giving some advice to Fort Leany, who is off to Cheltenham for a championship meeting. The routine is one Arkle knew well and hopes to know again. Top-class racehorses and bloodstock fly as far afield as the Americas and even Australia. A snack for the journey and all the equipment is loaded up. and the trainer watches as the horse boxes start off on their 30-mile journey to the airport. The horses themselves seem to take it all for granted. Hundreds of chartered horse flights will take off from Dublin in the busy season. One airline even has a special department dealing with nothing else. The cost varies according to the number of horses on the flight. Once aboard, they're perfectly happy. But getting them aboard can sometimes be a different matter, for highly bred racehorses always were temperamental. But at last they're all in, complete with their hand luggage and their stable lads. The officials tick off the details, and in a matter of minutes, they're away to London or Cambridge, or the most convenient landing place for the racecourse. Once you're airborne, it's much the same as it is in an ordinary airline. The flying horse gets a stall to himself. According to the type of plane, one airlift can take 10 or more animals. Everything is done for the comfort of the passengers, and on racehorse standards, the food is pretty good. The nearest airport for Cheltenham is Birmingham, and a lot of the flying arcs for West Country and Midland race meetings use it as a terminal. Then, once the horses have landed, it's the same routine in reverse. They're put aboard the horse box for the ride to the racecourse. That's if they like the look of the box. I don't feel they'd still rather be flying. But at last they're all in and they're on their way. One thing never worries them as they drive off from the airport. They never think of the thousands of punters who are waiting to put their shirts on them. Maybe that's what is meant by horse sense. Owners, trainers, and the airline operators arrange that the horses get to the course in time to rest up, get acclimatized, stretch their legs, and have a morning gallop. Then they're in top trim for the race itself. But a horse's number can't always come up in the frame. Maybe 5 isn't a lucky one for Fortlini, for despite the advice Arkle gave him back home, he's still far down the field as they battle it out for the Cheltenham Gold Cup. And that's the way he stays. Favourites can't win every time, however much they're trying. And a lot of shirts must have been lost on this one. But there it is. It's all part of the game. And when it's over, win or lose, it's back to the horse box and a quick flight home. Racehorses are the most expensive, the most pampered, and certainly the most valuable animals that ever fly in the arc in the sky. And what do you know? Sometimes it's all in a good cause. They don't always lose,